Newsflash. News reporters in 2 cities in America in one day realized that victims of black crime actually exist and they should go talk to them. Wow, stay tuned for further developments. Here's those 2 stories, and at the end of these stories, I have a very special question I need to ask the trolls. I need some help from the trolls, so stay tuned for that.
We have 2 pizza delivery drivers, and tonight the suspect's in jail. I'm James Brown.
I'm Kate Bartley. Prosecutors say Diablo McConnell raped one of the women he kidnapped. They say the 19-year-old tried to rape a second woman, but she managed to stop him.
And News Center 7 Sean Cudahy live in Inglewood, where the victim said McConnell attacked them. Sean, you also talked with some of McConnell's former classmates.
That's right, James. Prosecutors say McConnell kidnapped one of the women along this busy stretch of West Wanger Road here, and the stories of what happened allegedly to both women is harrowing.
It's just shocking.
Kyle Roberts and his friend Weston Collins both went to high school with this teen, Diablo McConnell.
Yeah, I sat there for a couple of minutes. I was like, is this actually him?
Hearing what McConnell's accused of, they started thinking back to their time with him at school.
It's not too shocking that this happened. You didn't hear anything positive about him around school.
According to court records, McConnell went up to the first woman October 17th and put a realistic BB gun to her head while she was delivering pizza. That was on Sandhurst Drive, and prosecutors say he forced that woman to drive him in his car to Taywood Drive, where he raped her. A day later, a similar story played out starting here on West Wanger Road in Inglewood. That's where he's accused of pointing a gun at the head of another woman. He then allegedly forced her to drive him several miles away to Hillcrest Avenue in Dayton. And it's somewhere here along Hillcrest, this man is accused of robbing and attempting to rape a woman. She tried to get away, and when she did, McConnell allegedly choked her until she passed out.
So just crazy that people stoop this low and get way out of hand.
Collins and Roberts say the fact their classmate is accused in these attacks isn't the only thing about these crimes that's shocking.
I mean, it puts people up, like, their guard up, you know? Like, you think you're safe, and then stuff like this happens. You realize, you know, it's not as perfect as you think it is.
Now, these court documents say that the victim I talked to today was robbed, kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and nearly raped. Now, when I was speaking with her today, she felt uncomfortable showing her face on camera because she said she feels unsafe. She said she's a little shaken up still and can't believe that she made it out alive.
Also had a big, huge knife and a gun, so he had both of them in his hands, and he was telling me, you know, either you're going to die or you're going to do this.
Sarah, who lives in Inglewood and works at Casano's Pizza, says she's delivered to these apartments off West Weddinger Road several times before. Then, earlier this month, she found herself walking into a trap.
But before I was able to open the door, I heard running footsteps right behind me, and that's when he literally cornered me with a gun and basically told me, you know, go back to your car and you're going to drive me somewhere.
Police say 19-year-old Diablo McConnell abducted Sarah, forcing her to give him money and sexually assaulting her.
And I kept refusing. He made me take my shirt off and everything.
She managed to slip out the back seat after he drove her to a nearby alley.
That's when he got mad and he shoved me down on the ground and hit me a bunch of times, and I blacked out.
She was able to run to a home and call police. Investigators say the night before, McConnell abducted and raped another woman who was delivering near Sandhurst Drive in Dayton.
It really scared me after I have been told what he did to other women, so. And I believe that he would have did all that stuff to me if I wouldn't have got out of there.
Sarah says Casano's doesn't offer self-defense training for the job and wishes she would have brought mace.
I'm mad at myself for doing that, but I got out alive.
She's keeping baseball bats near her door and has one opinion of McConnell.
I think he's a coward. He's the biggest coward ever.
Getting behind the wheel in the city of St. Louis has turned terrifying for many people who have become carjacking victims. We spoke with 2 victims about what they went through and how they handled the scary situation.
He said, I'm taking the car.
He pointed a gun in my face.
This woman wants her identity concealed. 68-year-old John Iman doesn't care.
I'm sure it happened quickly, but it was kind of in slow motion.
She was attacked around 3:15 Monday afternoon on Westminster in the Central West End. She says she had just gotten into her Volkswagen Jetta when 2 males with their faces partially covered by bandanas confronted her.
They opened the door, both sides of my car. They both were pointing guns at me, and they told me to get out of the car.
She did just that, leaving her purse and cell phone behind.
I think more than anything, I was confused that this could be happening on my street in the middle of the afternoon. So I was just kind of sitting there dumbfounded.
John was confronted Sunday night around 10 o'clock outside his South City home on Minnesota.
And I was just standing here, and I had these vibes that somebody was standing next to me, you know.
John was right. One male was behind him, while a second one was on the other side of the car. John's Grand Prix GT was stolen last year while John was inside his home. Determined it would not happen again, John fought back, struggling with one armed carjacker.
I was pushing on him, and I pushed the door shut. I thought, I just can't let him take the car. You know, I didn't even have all my stuff out. I had some personal stuff in there, you know, some of my papers, and I thought, I just can't let him take it.
John yelled for help. His neighbors came out, and the attackers ran.
It was kind of frightening.
Okay, trolls, as long as it's just you and I that are here, I have to ask you a favor. Listen, I'm guilty of this as everybody else is. People who watch this channel, who read my books, and don't tell them I said this. Watch my channel, read my books, listen to my podcasts, read my articles, people who contribute to this channel to help it keep going. Well, they're all living in a bubble because they never send me stories about white people doing the pizza delivery robbery thing. It's just black people. And then the carjacking's the same thing, whether it's in St. Louis or down in near Pinellas County, down near Fort Myers, Florida. It's always black people they send me the stories on. So could you help me out, you guys in St. Louis? Could you send me some stories of white people attacking the delivery drivers, raping them, killing them, assaulting them? Boy, that would be a great favor if you did that. Okay, but remember, don't tell anybody I told you this, because I don't want the people that really watch this channel, I don't want them to know that we're all living in this bubble where we're immune to all this white criminality that's happening. But we just, we're just blind to it because we're so used to it. We just ignore it all. And we just focus on the black criminality because we're very, very, very bad people. Would you help me show my listeners and viewers that? Man, I'd be really grateful if you did. Because if you did, I promise you, that's not going to make the black kids angry.
I got millions, I got riches building in my DNA. I got dark, I got evil that